welcome one, welcome all to I Scream, You Scream, your weekly scoop of the most chilling histories, mysteries, and also paranormal perplexities. I'm Gina.
And I'm Kathryn.
And this month we are talking about cryptids while we eat sherbet, which I'm no longer afraid of saying. I've grown past it.
Just in time for our last Sherbet episode.
Yeah, so this is my first character arc of the year.
And this will be the last. All right, what else do we have for the people?
Well, not only am I going to become a worse person from here on out, but also friendly reminder that we post a lot of cool stuff on Patreon. So feel free to join us if you'd like to become a member. Link is in the show notes. But hey, if that's not in the budget this year, we totally get it. You can also leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you send us a screenshot to icecreamyouscreampod@gmail.com, we will send you some lovely Ice Cream You Scream stickers as long as you give us your mailing address. Otherwise, we will have to throw them into the ether, and there's really no telling if they'll make their way to you. So please remember to send your address if you do choose to do that. Until then, grab a spoon and let's dig in.
You know, I bought this sherbet for a previous episode, I think, or flavor. I think it was when we were doing floats or something. I think I did like a mimosa float.
Yep.
And so we've done 2 months with this now, and I still have that big old tub. Like, there's still so much.
How much do you have left? Like over half?
Oh, yeah. There's only like a third gone. I don't know why Phil's not eating it.
Maybe he's not a sherbet guy.
Like, maybe I'm learning he doesn't like sherbet.
Aw, you guys are still learning about each other. Cute. Or you could also just get like a bunch of Prosecco or bubbly or something and just have a crazy weekend.
What I'll be doing.
Yeah, nice.
Yep. That's what I'll be doing.
Well, speaking of what we're eating, do you want to rate our ice cream?
Oh, yeah, I forgot we do that. Wait, that's fun. Okay. Oh, gosh, I'm not prepared. I mean, it's rainbow sherbet. I feel like, it's got to be a 5, right? It's just like, it's rainbow sherbet.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, it just is. You can't really put a number on it. So I'll just do 5. 5 out of 5. I don't know.
There we go.
Sherbet. What could go wrong with rainbow sherbet?
I like that your justification for it, I think 3 times now, has been, it's rainbow sherbet.
Yeah, like, what else is there to say? Like, I can't be like,
it's what
I can't describe why it's good. It just is rainbow sherbet. Like, I don't know.
That's fair.
It's rainbow sherbet. Every time I open my mouth, I try to say something different, but then it's just still rainbow sherbet. So there you go. 5 out of 5.
When we eventually do merch, I'm going to get you a shirt that says, it's rainbow sherbet. Mine is not a 5. Mine's like a 2.
Oh, no. Well, it's not rainbow. It's not rainbow sherbet. It's a raspberry sherbet.
Need I say more? It's not rainbow sherbet.
So, oh no, why is it just a 2?
It's, you know what? It really is just a personal preference thing. I've had this thing since I was a kid about dessert and fruit and how I don't think they belong together. I've grown past that in a lot of ways. Like apple crumble is my favorite dessert in the world. I love like a blueberry pie and a peach cobbler and things like that.
I love blueberry pie.
But I just can't get past an ice cream that is only like fruit flavor.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know. Well, we're too learning things about each other, so I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, like I like strawberry ice cream. Like that's nice because it has the chunks of strawberry in it, so there's some textural variation. But when it's just a flavor. And I will say the brand I got, Babu Gelato, is delicious. Like it's very creamy.
Oh, yeah.
Very smooth. But it's just not. Like I would take a cookie dough over this any day of the week.
Okay, that's interesting because I don't want to say I'm the opposite because I love a cookie ice cream. But there's very little I love more than it's rainbow sherbet. Like that's 3 different fruits. Yeah, like I love a lime sorbet or something like that.
That sounds
like
good.
One of my favorite, like a key lime pie is one of my favorite things.
Key lime pie is a whole other story. That's delicious.
It is, right? Why is that just so good?
It is so good. I miss key lime pie.
Oh my God. Yeah, so good. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't know that about you. Okay.
Yeah, well, you know.
All right.
I'm a complex character. Sometimes I like fruit, sometimes I don't. You'll never know.
Yeah. Just constantly living on edge with the fruit desserts. And you know what I hate, speaking of fruit dessert?
What?
My best friend growing up, her mom used to make it all the time. And I always had to pretend that I liked it because I was shy and didn't want to have to tell her how much I hated it. Fruit pizza.
What?
Did you ever have fruit pizza?
No.
So fucking gross.
What is it?
No offense to anyone who loves it. It's like kind of like a sugar cookie crust. It's probably some pastry, but she always used like, she'd have like a roll of sugar cookie dough and roll it out to make like a pizza shape.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was this like fruity, yogurty type base. And then it was just sliced up fruit.
You lost me at the
Like, she'd do,
yogurty
like-
base.
It's one of those things where like it was the 90s and I wonder if she was like just her mom was like dieting, so that's the
Mhm.
dessert they had. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it very much tasted like that.
Mm.
But she would have it for like birthdays and stuff, and every time I like anyway, I was triggered because we got a fruit dip mix for Christmas, which sounded really good, but the cover, like the picture on like the cover of the package was like all of the fruit that used to be on this fruit pizza.
Oh, no.
And it just like looked like that minus the crust. And I genuinely got that taste in my mouth when I saw this dip mix. Cause I like, it was one of those moments where I was sent back to like 2002
Mm-hmm.
and like in this kitchen watching this fruit pizza be brought out and like trying to keep like a positive look on my face. Anyway, so that's my experience with fruit and dessert. I don't know how we got here.
I feel like that's so close to being amazing, though. Because instead of like a yogurty base, if it was like
Yeah.
a custard and then you had some like syrupy fruit that you've like put like strawberries with sugar on them,
Yeah.
that could be really good.
Strawberries and sugar is good.
Mm-hmm.
But like, stop there. Just a bowl of strawberries and sugar is
Yeah.
good.
Fresh strawberries.
Yeah. Farm fresh
Yeah.
strawberries. My mouth is watering so bad right now. You know how I feel about it. A little carton. Oh, farm fresh strawberries. Oh my God, so good.
Side of the road.
We've
Ugh.
talked about this on the podcast before. I know we have. It's so different than grocery store strawberries.
It is.
It's just different. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ooh, yeah. Anyway, what were we talking? Sorry. Okay. What are we
Ice
doing?
cream.
Ice cream. Okay. So wait, end of the month. That means it's time to announce next month. And if I remember correctly, you made me announce this month and you promised me you would announce the next 3. I have not forgotten. So
I did wonder.
batter up, baby.
I wondered if you were gonna remember.
I literally did. I did forget until this moment. I was about to say who's going to announce, and then my brain remembered.
Me for the next 3 months. Okay, guys, here's what we're doing. So next month is February. And to celebrate the month of February, we will be telling stories about or connected to New Orleans.
Yay! We're doing it! Have
Love
we talked
New
about it
Orleans.
enough?
And to accompany our episodes about New Orleans, we're going to be having coffee ice cream with bourbon. Open to interpretation on how we do that. But coffee
I love
plus
it.
bourbon equals next month.
As they say.
As they say.
Excellent.
Yes. I'm very, very, very excited. We have some really interesting topics queued up for next month.
I'm trying to remember what mine are.
You're like, do we? I don't know.
No, I'm. I know you do. This is another one where I don't think I know either of yours.
Excellent. Good.
I don't think I do. If I'm remembering the schedule correctly. Yeah, I don't think I know yours.
Well,
So that's exciting.
buckle up, buddy.
Okay.
Strap in.
Dude,
Get ready for a
listen.
hangover.
Oh my gosh, right? Wait, we've been doing a lot of boozy ice creams. Is that true or am I making that up? I don't know if that's true or not.
We have, and we're fine. Nothing is wrong.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, should we tell people we're emotionally stable?
Yeah. Wink, wink. No, but like we totally are. And
I feel like the more we explain, the less.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Let's just move right past. Let's move past it. I want to call out that I'm wearing something very special today.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh.
I am wearing a beautiful Ghost Huns sweatshirt that I got for Christmas from my beautiful co-host, Kathryn. So thank you so much for the lovely sweatshirt. And the tote bag. I got a tote bag too, and I love it.
Okay, yes, I did that on purpose because you told me once that you, this is going to sound so dumb, you love tote bags.
I do.
And more importantly, also use them. Because we all love a tote bag. Everyone loves a tote. Everyone has totes, but you're the only one I know that like actually regularly uses them. I have a whole ass pile right over there. Will never move from that spot ever. So I was really excited to have an excuse to buy someone a tote bag that they will actually use. And I'm very excited that you actually got the order because I did not receive any confirmation of that purchase in my email. And like I probably did. It probably just went to junk. But like in my head, the order didn't go through. So I was like panicking about getting you a Christmas present. And then one day you were like, wait, is this from you?
Yeah, because it didn't come with
yeah,
like with anything.
It didn't give me any option. So I was going to text you and be like, hey, you have something on the way. You'll know it's from me. But I chose not. I didn't do that because I thought the order didn't go through. So I'm just like, you just got this like mystery package Sunday.
Well, I
from me.
think my first clue was that it was addressed to Dr. Gina, which is always it's always a giveaway.
Wait, was it not Esquire this time?
No, it wasn't Esquire this time, but that's okay. That title's optional.
Ghost Huns. You are so there are several websites, not several. I don't like sit around sending you gifts all the time. But like I will still get like promo emails from places where I have sent you things. And it'll be like, hi, Dr. Gina Esquire.
Perfect, yes.
So yeah, there are several websites out there where you have like many profitable careers.
Did I ever tell you about the time I think it must have been one of the times where I was either flying from the US to the UK or vice versa, and I booked a ticket under the name Baroness Gina and then my last name, and I didn't realize.
You did. That's where I got the idea.
Okay, cool. That makes me feel better because I was panicking about that because once I booked the ticket, it like wouldn't let me remove the title, and I was nervous about it not matching my passport, and I was like, they're not gonna let me in.
Just take a Sharpie on your passport. I don't know what the abbreviation for Baroness is, but
me neither.
Wait, can I tell you something real quick? This just happened real time.
What?
I have my Daily Farmer's Almanac calendar thing. I sent you a picture of it when it was a cheese thing, but I just realized I looked over, and it's a fun fact about how to get more vitamin C in your diet, and the pictures are like fruit pizza fruit.
No, really?
It's like actually got that vibe. It's got like kiwi, strawberry, like it's like the fruit that occurs on fruit pizza.
Always the kiwi.
This pizza's haunting me. It's always the kiwi.
It is
I feel
always
like
the
the
kiwi.
kiwi is the key for like the fruit pizza flashbacks.
The key. Wee. Yes.
I'm not gonna make it through this episode. Should we start? Because I'm not gonna be able to transition.
Yes, I want to be.
Excellent.
I want to be regaled. Can you tell me a story, please?
One thing I did not mention in the last episode that I want to remember to mention now is both of my episodes this month were chosen by our Patreon members. So just as like a little reminder, we do polls over there, and every month you can vote on which topics we cover. I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do for this month, so both of my topics this month were chosen by you all. So thank you for doing that work for me. Before we get going, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
So we are talking about the Chupacabra today, and I was just kind of curious about your specific experience with the Chupacabra. Are you familiar with it/the story at all?
I'm familiar with the word/name Chupacabra. I'm pretty sure it's a like southwestern thing, I think. I don't feel like it was a big thing where I grew up. Maybe it was. I don't know. And that's it. I don't know the story. I don't know the lore. I know nothing.
Did you know about it when you were little? Like, did you hear about it when you were young?
Yeah, but I never understood what it was.
Okay. if you had a guess, when would you get, based on like what you do know, and it's okay if you have no guess, but if you do have a guess, when would you guess the first sighting of the Chupacabra was?
Oh, first sighting.
And it's okay if you're like, I have no clue, that's totally fine too.
So I don't have a clue, but I'm going to run my mouth anyway. I think
Okay, love it.
that based on the stories that we've heard so far this month, I think all of the first sightings for all, I think I'm correct about this. I think they were all 20th century. So I'm going to go 1956.
Okay. So I warned Gina ahead of time that she was going to have a trivia question, and it is very specifically because I am astonished to have learned that the first official sighting was in 1995.
What?
The year of our Lord Gina. Yes.
It is the year of our Lord Gina. Thank you.
You're the same age as the Chupacabra.
Wait, am I?
Allegedly. We'll get into all that.
Okay.
Are you the Chupacabra? Wait, that is... Listen, that's like a whole other theory that I didn't even get to. Man, I'm going to be so rambly this episode. I already warned you. I have so many theories. That's another one that will take like all day.
I am shocked by that.
Yes.
The 90s feels so late.
Oh, right? Thank you. Okay. So I did grow up hearing about the Chupacabra, but similar to you, I never had any idea what the hell it actually was. We'll get into all that a little bit later. But yes, the first official documented sighting of the Chupacabra was in the year 1995. It all began in the springtime. It was just like a normal day on a small island. What? Let me start again. To the top. Hi, welcome to Ice Cream.
Run it back. Run it back.
On the island of Puerto Rico. And basically it was just some sheep farmers and goat farmers went to check on their herd. I think it was like in the morning or maybe like late at night, early morning. And they discovered that multiple goats were dead, seemingly out of the blue. And at first glance, they couldn't figure out what had happened to them. It appeared like they just dropped, like nothing, there were no signs of anything sinister or, no predators or anything like that. They couldn't figure out what had happened. But upon further inspection, they found several small little puncture wounds in the animals, and it appeared that they had been completely drained of blood. So naturally, the farmers are panicked. Not only were they out several farm animals, which equals a significant loss of income, but they had never really experienced anything like that. Puerto Rico doesn't really have a lot of natural predators. There aren't any like big cats or bears or anything like that like we have here in the US. So it felt really strange and unusual that this could have happened just kind of out of the blue, particularly the fact that it appeared to be some type of vampiric predator. That was very confusing and alarming to a lot of people. And as it tends to do, especially in small island communities, word began to spread very quickly. And for several months, there would be numerous animals found allegedly drained of blood on farms across the northeastern part of Puerto Rico. And then it would spread to other parts as well. But I think that's where it was initially kind of congested. Then in August of that same year, so that initial happening was in March. And then by the end of the summer, we would finally have the first official eyewitness account of the creature that people thought to be responsible for all of these farm animal killings. A woman named Madeline Tolentino claimed that she saw something strange when she was at her mother's house in I practiced this. What is it? Canovanas, I think it's called. I'm so used to like whenever I practice pronunciation, I always go into it like, yeah, I know this. And then I read it and my brain just goes like, what is that?
Well, and there's a huge difference between when you're practicing saying something in the safety of like just reading through your episode versus saying it when we're recording. It gets 20 times scarier.
That's the thing. Here, like if I was just in a conversation with a human, I would just be able to say it normally. But because I'm recording myself saying it, I'm like, Canovanas? Like, what is this?
Nailed it.
I think it's pronounced Canovanas. So Anyway, what happened was she was inside at her mother's house, and all of a sudden she saw something peeking through the window. And she, I know, right?
Huh.
And she described it as being roughly 3 to 4 feet tall and having long, scaly limbs, giant, red, alien-like eyes, always with the giant red
Yeah.
eyes. And it had no ears and kind of reptilian-like features with these giant spikes all the way down its back. She, of course, screamed. It freaked her out. And when she did, she startled this creature, and it, like, leapt away out into the jungle. Madeline was hesitant to come forward about this at first because she was really nervous that people would think she was crazy. But eventually she did talk about it because it was unlike anything she had ever seen before, and she felt like she needed to warn people about it. Like, she thought it could be connected to these farm animal killings. And also, even if it wasn't, it was like, that was freaking weird. Like, people should know that that thing's out there. She ended up working with a local UFO researcher named Jorge Martin. She basically described the creature to him, and they worked together to sketch it out. And that's when we had the first ever visual of the creature that would become known as El Chupacabra, which translates directly to the goat sucker. And I was going to try to just push past it.
That is kind of funny.
I knew you weren't going to let me.
The goat sucker.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a direct translation. And fun fact, you're going to love this. If you love the name, you're going to love this. The name Chupacabra was coined by a comedian who was like doing a bit on it.
Oh my gosh.
Whilst all of this was happening, summer of 1995. Yeah.
That's such a fun fact.
Yeah, I don't remember the guy's name. I should have written it down. We'll put it in YouTube or something. Yeah, so this all started with like a comedy bit. Basically, he was like probably making fun of her for seeing it or something, and like coined the name Chupacabra. Like, isn't that wild?
That is wild. I love that.
Yeah, let me share with you. I meant to share the photo. Okay, so this is the sketch that they put together of it. So this is what she allegedly saw.
Oh, it's cute and it looks like an alien.
Right? Doesn't it look like a cute little baby turtle or something?
It does, like a cute little guy.
Yeah. I think he's kind of cute.
He is cute.
Someone's like aggressively hugging me right now. I don't know what's going on with
it's
her.
cute.
Yeah, sorry, is this distracting? I just looked at my like video.
No, it's not
Like,
distracting.
this is like peak cat lady.
Yes, my child.
Cat mom multitasking. All right. So
That song that's like a single mom who works two
a working mom, a single mom who works
There we
two
go.
jobs and has two kids and no son. Oh, she is bad. She's gone. She's like fuck this
you.
and fuck you. All right. She's still in my lap. She'll bounce in a second. Okay. So anyway, as previously implied by the local UFO guy getting involved, people were like, okay, there's some real shit out there. Obviously, one of the early explanations was alien, obviously. But people were like, okay, someone saw something. We need to figure out what's actually happening, especially if it is interfering with the farms around here. So people put together search parties, and as the month and eventually years went on, the alleged sightings would not stop. And eventually, in those early days, there would be upwards of 200 sightings of this creature.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly what time frame that would be in, but it was like once people had, a name and an image to look for, it was just like one after the another. People were, quote unquote, seeing this thing. And the sightings weren't just confined to Puerto Rico. As the years went on, they would spread to numerous countries throughout the Americas, including Mexico, Chile, Colombia, Brazil, and the United States. And the first sighting in the United States took place in Miami, Florida, always with the Florida.
What? In Miami?
Right? That Miami was so weird to me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's not that weird, but Yeah, I thought that was strange. You'd think it'd be like, I don't know, in like a swamp somewhere or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Miami's weird.
I agree. I did Miami. When I think of Miami, I don't think Chupacabra, but I also didn't think Chicago when I thought
Yeah,
Mothman. So
that's true. And you know, it will make sense in a second to your point from way earlier what your memory of the Chupacabra is. As we moved deeper into the late 90s, early 2000s, the American Chupacabra sightings would move away from the Atlantic Gulf
okay,
Coast type area to the Southwest,
okay,
which is what you remember hearing about. And that was my kind of experience with it as well, as far as the American sightings were concerned. So those American sightings overlapped heavily with what people were seeing in Mexico, too, which makes sense. That's the same region. And this is where the story of the Chupacabra gets really interesting to me, because to make this about myself, really quick, I have spent the last several years of my life genuinely kind of confused about what exactly the Chupacabra was and wondering if I was living in my own little Mandela effect situation, because I always remembered it being this weird lizard man type thing. That was my experience with the Chupacabra. But apparently, somewhere in like the early to mid 2000s, that description changed.
okay.
So this is when the sightings in the US and Mexico started becoming more prevalent, and they were still happening in the Caribbean and, you know, South America and really all over the world, but it's more around those areas. But Central and North America were having kind of a different experience with what they considered to be the Chupacabra, and it looks very different. Here in America, most prominently Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico, people who claim to see the Chupacabra tend to describe it as a hairless dog-like creature.
Okay, that's what I pictured.
Is that what you know it
Yeah.
as? That's okay. Yeah, that was not my experience with it at all. And then
Okay.
suddenly one day, I noticed like there were Chupacabra quote unquote sightings. And I was like, that's not the Chupacabra. Like, what are you talking about? But I didn't realize there was like a regional thing. I always thought it was this weird lizard guy. So I thought I just made up the lizard thing, like completely. So let's just real quick go over the official descriptions that have like been pieced together from each claim in each region, for these two creatures that are the same creature, actually, allegedly. So recap of the early Puerto Rican / Caribbean descriptions said it was a creature that stood on its hind legs, 3 to 4 to sometimes up to 5 feet tall, reptilian, alien-like grayish green skin, spines on its back, huge glowing red eyes, long claws and fangs, and sometimes wings or like webbing on its hands or feet. I remember it having wings. I remember it being like a lizard with wings. That was my... But even in Puerto Rico, it didn't always have wings. The behavioral traits of that one are like nocturnal attacks on livestock, and it was said to drink blood, leaving kind of unusual puncture wounds in drained animals. And it was described as having this weird, eerie hop run type thing, kind of like your last episode. I was kind of wondering if that could have been the same creature.
My gosh.
It's kind of like a lizard kangaroo.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. But then in Mexico, it's described as a hairless, dog-like, or usually coyote-like creature. And it's usually very emaciated and like kind of starved looking. And it also has visible skin underneath like tufts of the occasional hair, sometimes bluish gray or like leathery skin, pronounced snout and sharp teeth, and it usually moves on all fours rather than upright, but it is possible for it to move on its hind legs. Behavioral traits are kind of similar. It is also associated with livestock deaths, but it's more traditional as far as hunting versus there's not really a vampire aspect to it. It's just like as a coyote would kill a sheep. You know what I mean? Like it just attacks the animals. I do think there is still an association of blood draining, but it's a lot more sporadic. It's not like that is a telltale sign. You get that every single time. And then in the Southwest United States, it's the same thing. That's the Mexico and American one are pretty much the same. Beyond that, like I said, there are other regions around the world with people who claim they have seen the Chupacabra. There was a Russian sighting. I think it was like mid to late 2000s. I think it was around 2006-ish. I don't remember. There was also a sighting in Maine, which is still the United States, but like very different part of the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, super far away. But basically, the point is the Chupacabra can just show up anywhere, essentially. But it is notable that the description has been different in nearly every single region. So call me crazy. It is possible that these are different creatures.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering why they're all called the Chupacabra.
Yes. So in the decades since it was first named back in Puerto Rico in 95, it kind of seems like Chupacabra, quote unquote, Chupacabra has become kind of a catch-all term to simply describe a creature you don't understand or recognize. It's like, see a weird thing in the woods or on a farm or in your backyard and you don't know what it is, El Chupacabra. Like, that's it, you know?
Safe bet.
Right. So I am trying not to like fall down all my different rabbit holes. I am going to kind of leave the North American / like Central and North American version out of the discussion for a second. We will get back to it again toward the end, but I want to talk about the original sightings in Puerto Rico to kind of discuss what people think it was and kind of what the original creature could have been, because I think all of these other ones, I'm not saying they're not real creatures, but like if they are, it just is a whole different thing. So we're going to go back to the Puerto Rican one real quick. So beyond just the eyewitness sighting, where did this legend actually come from and like why did it grow the way that it did? There is a man named Loren Coleman who is the director of the International Cryptozoology Museum in Portland. Why do you know him? Have you talked about him?
Yeah, we talked about him in Enfield Horror. He was the guy that...
Okay,
Yeah.
I was going to ask if that was the same guy because
same
I
guy.
remember, like, because I thought you were saying Lorne, like Lorne Michael of SNL. So when I saw Lauren, I was like, wait, is this the same guy that you were talking about? Or is that like a coincidence? Okay, I meant to ask you this before this episode. I totally forgot. Anyway, so yes, they talked to him, and he says that it is possible that the sightings in Puerto Rico could have been attributed to kind of a mini mass hysteria caused by Madeline's initial, I'm going to call it like she kind of planted the seed with her description. And then everyone, anytime they saw something weird, it was like that was the image that they saw in their head. Like that sketch was just the first thing that people saw. And without looking into it further, it was just like, oh my God, El Chupacabra, you know? And there is some weight to this theory because in July of 1995, right after the initial panic with the livestock and right before her description, an alien movie called Species premiered. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
It has Ben Kingsley in it.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Have you seen it?
Okay. I have like seen clips of this movie. I'm like familiar with this movie outside of this episode, but I haven't like sat and watched the movie. Okay. I'm going to now because I love Ben Kingsley. Anyway, I feel like I made that weird. Why am I like obsessed with Ben Kingsley all of a sudden? Do I have a crush on 82-year-old Ben Kingsley?
Yeah, why not?
Of course I do. We all should. Why would you not? Anyway, so this alien movie, what? Man, I keep like misreading all of these notes.
I love when you shock yourself with what comes out of your mouth and you say something and you're like, what?
Oh my God. You know, I accidentally did that to a customer a couple weeks ago. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
I don't remember what they were looking for, but I'm not going to remember this story like as I have. It's been a weird few weeks for me. But they were asking for something and it reminded me of a book with a title very similar to another book. So I accidentally said the wrong book and immediately go, what? This woman looks at me like, what did I didn't say anything. Yeah, it was weird. I made it weird.
I bet she loved you, though.
Anyway. I haven't seen her again, so hopefully she's just working her way through that book I so eloquently recommended to her.
She'll be back. She'll be back.
She'll be back. Anyway. The alien in this movie is gray, grayish green, has scaly skin, spines all the way down its back, and kind of reddish eyes, not super red, but she's got like highlighted. There are like red bits to her. It's not exactly the same as the sketch, but the takeaway is she looks a whole lot like the Chupacabra, basically. So it is possible that Madeline, saw something in her backyard that was totally normal, and imagery from this film, whether she saw it or not, she would have seen like trailers and marketing for it because it was showing in theaters in Puerto Rico. It's possible that that imagery was somewhere in her brain and she like made that connection. I will say, personally, comparing the sketch to the movie, there are similarities, but I feel like the main similarity that is notable to that movie is just the spikes on its back. Otherwise, they both just look like reptilian aliens, which, like, yeah, it's possible this movie could have been in her psyche when she saw this thing, but I also could see that they just did a really good job creating an alien for this movie, and she also did see something that looked like this. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not going to call it a stretch because there definitely seems to be a connection, but like, I don't necessarily buy it that was the definitive reason. It's possible, but I'm not like, yes, case closed. Yeah, it is notable that she is not the only one who claimed to see it. She was at first, of course, but I mean, like I said, there were over 200 sightings of this thing throughout Puerto Rico alone. That could be a little mass hysteria. It could just be people seeing something. I do want to say, spoiler, I do believe in the Chupacabra, but there is another logical explanation that I want to go over first, because I think this is a fun one. This is the one I warned Gina ahead of time. I came up with this theory last night, so I'm a little wired right now. I don't know how rambly I'm going to get. But, so, like I said earlier, Puerto Rico has no natural predators, but they do have an invasive species that is a predator. Back in the 1960s, there was a lizard being sold in pet stores in Puerto Rico called the spectacled caiman. What pet owners didn't know when they were buying these lizards was the fact that the spectacled caiman wasn't just a reptile, it was a type of crocodile.
Yeah, aren't they the ones with the really scary buggy eyes?
Yes. Yeah. They're a species
really
of crocodile
dangerous, yeah.
that are not fit for pets
No.
and being kept in a tank in homes. So people didn't know this. They were buying these cute little lizard things, bringing them home, and these things would outgrow their tanks, so people had to set them free. There was nowhere to put them.
Oh my God.
So now the main predator in Puerto Rico is the spectacled caiman, which was introduced to the island in the 70s when people were setting all of these pets free because they couldn't take care of them. And if you're not a native predator to an area, you have to find prey. So these animals were likely going after livestock. So it's very possible that that was the predator that was going after these animals, but people who weren't buying these lizards or were unaware of what was happening with these, I'm saying quote unquote lizards, they wouldn't make that connection because they're not used to seeing these crocodiles here because they're not native to the island. But the Chupacabra stuff was happening in the 90s, and the spectacled caiman situation was happening in the 70s. So what's with the time gap? Well, in 1975, there was another series of livestock killings out of the blue in the small town of Mocha, and people couldn't explain what was happening. They had no idea. They had never seen animal attacks like this before. And it was a very similar situation to what was being described when the Chupacabra showed up in 1995, 20 years later. Stock was just mysteriously dead with small circular incisions appearing to be drained of blood. The series of events in 75 was attributed to El Vampiro de Mocha, which translates to the Vampire of Mocha. And okay, actually, this is a fun fact. Can you guess what people initially attributed these deaths to? It wasn't the Chupacabra, but it's something we've talked a lot about on this podcast. Close. Satanic cults.
There we go. Okay, close second.
Yes. And ritual sacrifice. So that was what, the explanation for that in 1975, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But based on the timing, I do think it's possible that these crocodiles had been set loose in the 70s. Again, didn't have any natural prey, so they started going after the livestock. I can't really explain the draining in blood, but I do know when animals are injured, they don't just drop and die. They typically tend to move a little bit. So it's possible that they were bleeding for a while and on the move. So that could be why people weren't finding them in a pool of blood. I don't know how much weight that carries. I'm not privy to livestock deaths, but I think that's possible. It can appear that they were drained. Yeah. Then of course the circular incisions could just be the the crocodile teeth. That makes perfect sense.
Spectacled caimans, if you've never seen one before, they do look kind of alien-ish. I get how how trying to verbally describe it to someone would result in a picture like that one.
Yeah. And it's not everything matches one-to-one, but if you see it in the dark or you're not used to seeing it and you don't know, you haven't seen anything like that before, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It is certainly possible, weirder connections have been made,
Interesting.
So it is possible that describes the Puerto Rican sightings. As for the Central and North American sightings, I'm going to have a little bit of an attitude about this. Honestly, every single sighting and every single, quote, video of a sighting of a Chupacabra in that region is very clearly and obviously attributed to a mangy coyote. And part of why I want to brush past this a little bit is because it honestly makes me so mad and a little bit sad because people are recording these sick animals and saying it's a monster when you should just be calling an animal rescue so that they can get treated. Mange can be treated. If you see what you think is a Chupacabra in the southwestern United States, call animal control because it's really just a sick canine. So, and also don't send us those videos if you think that you see a Chupacabra because I don't want to see them. It makes me very upset. So, this is all to say I don't believe in the North American Chupacabra. Do believe in the Puerto Rican Chupacabra. That's a very important distinction. Besides that little soapbox I just had to hop on real quick, I do want to bring up a particularly compelling image that was taken from security camera footage from a Texas zoo in 2022. Did you ever hear about this? This got pretty big.
No.
Reputable news sites were covering this. Let me send you the link real quick.
My gosh, I feel I'm getting flashbacks to the Dear David episodes where I was waiting for something I knew would be scary.
Wait, that's so funny. I was literally just about to mention Dear David.
Really? Oh.
In my next sentence.
Huh.
The next sentence in my notes says, I believe it was taken with one of those cameras that I described in the Dear David episode. And you think that you're not psychic. Oh, I've never had a psychic experience. You so are. Okay.
All right, let's have a look.
So I think it was taken with one of those cameras that every so often it snaps a picture or it was motion censored.
No, I do recognize this. I've seen this
before. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I'd forgotten about this.
I feel this is something, because we were friends at this time, and this is definitely something I would have yammered on about.
Yeah.
So you may have just seen this from me. So sorry for those not watching the video and who have not seen it. There is this, it's a night vision photo taken pointing outside a fence at a Texas zoo, and it captures what appears to be a like wolf or coyote or dog-like shape walking on its hind legs outside of the fence. So it looks like it's like kind of scouting the zoo. The running theory was that it was like looking for a meal, essentially. I don't really have a concrete explanation with this one. I will say I don't think it's this chupacabra. If it is something weird, I would think it was like a dog man or werewolf or skinwalker or something like that.
Very werewolfy, yeah.
Very werewolfy. It very much looks like a werewolf outline.
Yeah.
But I will say, one thing I do want to say, I can't see it anymore, but when I first saw this photo, I remember seeing something totally different. It was one of those, you know, that like optical illusion where there's two images and once you see one, you can't see the other.
Like a rabbit in a duck or whatever.
Yeah. So I like can't see what I originally saw at first now that I see the wolf shape. But when I first saw this, I saw what looked like a big cat, like leaping and facing toward the camera.
Oh,
so
I could kind of.
Do you see it? Can you find it?
I can see the head because what I was seeing as something that looks like a snout, if we're going with the werewolfy one, could also be like the whiskers if it's a cat facing the camera. I see
or like
that.
an ear, like pointing down. Yes. So that's what I saw at first, and I was like, what are you talking about? That's not a, creature. That's just like a mountain lion or bobcat or something. But then once I saw the wolf shape, I like can't find the cat anymore. But if I can find what I saw again, I'll try to do like an outline so people can see it. Obviously, this is a very compelling image. Like I said, it was making the rounds like crazy. Like everyone, not everyone in the world, but like everyone in like the community that's interested in this was talking about it. It could just be someone in costume. Could just be like what I said, like different type of animal and our eyes are seeing what we want to see. Or it could be a creature, a weird dog creature. Of all the evidence, I do think this is the most compelling. All of the other evidence you'll find is, like I said, just very clearly an image of a sick coyote. This is the only one that's very, like, the way it's moving is compelling.
It's like it's how the arms and legs are placed for me.
Yeah.
Because if this was a dog or a coyote or something standing on its hind legs, its arms would be like in the front.
Like,
that. But it looks like it has, like the ball and socket joint of a shoulder that humans do, and it's hanging down with an elbow like humans have.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I was wondering, I can't remember if we ever talked about this, but I was wondering if you would recognize this image because
I definitely recognize.
I thought it was really.
This was probably one we probably talked about it over like a Long Island iced tea, and so I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure I would have. Like, yeah, because we had known each other for a few years at that point, so I would have been like, all right, even if she thinks I'm crazy, it's fine. Like, I definitely would have brought this up for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're kind of coming to the end. I do like. Is the Chupacabra real? Honestly, don't know. Like I said, definitely believe in the Chupacabra one. What? The Puerto Rican one. What is happening to me today? Is the Chupacabra real? I don't know, but I definitely believe in the Chupacabra. Wow, talk about Freudian slip.
Love it.
Yeah, I do. I just like that story better, and I think it's, even if it is that little crocodile thing, I think just the fact that we have a whole alien description of it, I just feel like that just holds a lot more weight than the North American one. Like the North American one, I'm not saying that, well, some of these sightings definitely are not a weird creature, but things like that, like the image, I'm like, I would attribute that to like a werewolf or something. Before I called it a chupacabra, personally. I might get some hate for this, but I don't care. I stand by it 100%.
The North American one almost feels like lots of different cryptids smushed into one, or like lots of different paranormal.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a little bit werewolf, kind of a little bit vampire, kind of a little bit other stuff, like kind of a little bit dog man, it's...
I do want to talk about one of my other conspiracy theories real quick, specific to the Puerto Rican one. Because I was looking at a map of the sightings, which we will share in the show notes, and every single one of the sightings took place very close to a river. So could very much be a crocodile. That's, very on brand. But I'm also wondering, as inspired by your mermaid episode, this is a lizard, like reptilian type creature. So what if it is both land and sea monster? And that could also explain the gap in time, because we saw it in the 70s, then we saw it again in the 90s, then we saw it again in like the 2010s. What if it just like hangs out in the sea for 20 years at a time and then floats into Puerto Rico via river, eats a bunch of animals, and then like fucks off back into the sea?
Like an amphibious little cicada.
Yeah.
I dig that. I'm into that. I think that there's not enough amphibious cryptids.
No, not at all. We were going to talk about that frog guy, but no. Yes. So we're talking about the Chupacabra instead, because what if it's like a similar vibe?
Mm-hmm.
What if it's like, there's like sea crocodiles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Weirder things have happened.
I agree.
Anyway, so that's my new running theory of the Chupacabra, is that it is a sea and land dwelling lizard thing.
I buy that. I buy that more than any other theory, I think.
Me too. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. I like that a lot.
Anyway, so we figured out the Chupacabra situation. Thank you for joining us. And do you have something spooky for me?
Well,
I'm like, I don't want to leave any room for discussion on this, so we gotta just move past it. We figured it out. We know who Chupacabra is and where he's going, and like, let's move on.
Case closed. Comments are turned off. We are moving on.
Yeah, no feedback expected or welcome whatsoever. No discussions will be had on the aquatic Chupacabra.
Because we already solved it. Anyway. I do have something spooky for you if you consider the DARE program in school to be scary.
As I do, and as we all should.
So a few episodes ago when we were talking about Bloody Mary, we briefly talked about this clip that went viral online where somebody was claiming that the DARE program was a MLM or a pyramid scheme. And also, I don't know the difference between those two things, which is something I discovered.
Okay, yeah, I feel like, so that's kind of part of the discussion, is very few people do. They are technically different. Basically, don't come for me, but pyramid schemes are like technically illegal. Multi-level marketing schemes are basically the loophole that people can do to basically achieve the same thing, but not call it a pyramid scheme. I don't remember the very specific like logistics of why they're different, but it's like, I believe, icecreamyouscreampod@gmail.com if you want to walk us through this in like a respectful, non-condescending way, please feel free. But I believe that a pyramid scheme is a little bit more overtly predatory than a multi-level marketing scheme, like,
because those are always
you are
like
choosing to be part of it.
Girl boss, that's what I think.
Own
about
your
it.
own company.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's like you are choosing to be part of this and you like have a level of autonomy, but like there is still someone at the top who's getting more benefit from this than you are, essentially. Which like at the end of the day, it's like that's not super different from any company, but there are like differences. At its core, there's not much of a difference. Shout out to Philippa, our listener, for sending us an episode on this topic.
Friend of the pod, Philippa, sent us an email about the Is Dare an MLM thing, and she referred us to a podcast called Life After MLM, who, as the name might suggest, explores things like MLMs and pyramid schemes and Ponzi schemes and all of that not good stuff. And there was a whole episode about Dare, and so Kathryn and I both listened to it. And I thought it was fascinating. I was shocked to discover that it doesn't sound like it actually was an MLM.
So I will just say this. The way it was described is it's not, you don't get benefits from having other officers join, but they described it as something that is a way for off-duty cops to make money, which I don't love for reasons that I will keep to myself. That's all I have to say. Also, just fuck Dare because I hated my Dare officer. They went into this whole thing about how there were, like, you know, there was an officer that still kept in touch with some of his students, and it really, like, gutted him when he had to pull over former students and blah, 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 blah. And, like, loved that for him, but, like, hated my Dare officer so much. So it's one of those things where I'm over here kind of like, whether or not it was an MLM, I still hated my officer and, like, wish that I had disappointed her. I wish she could have seen me as a sophomore in high school, because boy, did she fail.
Let's go do drugs outside of her house.
I wish I could remember. I would absolutely never share her name publicly. I wouldn't do that. But I wish that I personally knew her name so that I could just see how she was doing now. Because
I
didn't like her.
I don't remember my Dare officer at all. And that's another thing that surprised me when they were talking about it on Life After MLM, is just how regional this thing was. Like, there was a part where they were talking about how a lot of Dare officers, you know, they like coach football teams and cheer squads, and they get involved.
Yeah, that was surprising.
I never had. I don't remember my Dare officer's name, but I remember that he did not want to be there, and it was not like there was no community aspect of it for me when I was a little kid. That's how I remember it. And the other part that it was one of those things where as soon as I heard it, I was like, well, yeah, of course, that's what it was. But it had never occurred to me, is that one of alongside educating kids about the dangers of drugs or whatever, a secondary goal was to give kids positive experiences with cops early on so that they felt comfortable going to the cops for things. And I felt betrayed by that.
I did not have that experience.
Me neither.
I also didn't love that they... And I want to be clear, I'm not talking bad about the podcast at all, but like, because I thought they did a very good job of being objective on the topic.
Agreed.
It's very much you can make your own conclusion about how, like, we just have our own thoughts on Dare. Like, other people, I'm sure, will come out of it like, wow, yeah, it's not as bad as everyone says it is. I came out of it like, wow, what a trash program. But they said something like, basically, I'm paraphrasing. Everyone should just go listen to this episode. But they said something to the effect of, like, how, like, inaccurate the stuff they were teaching was. Like, and I want to be very clear, you know, this isn't necessarily Dare's fault, the people making that curriculum, because a lot of the research that we had in the 90s and the stuff that was being shared and all the stuff that came out of the war on drugs, it was all very not correct information. But, like, there was that whole bit about how one of their biggest platforms was the fact that marijuana's as dangerous as heroin. Yeah. Which, like, we all learned. Like, everyone thought that because that's what we were being told. But I'm like, I remember as a fifth grader learning that and instinctively knowing that that could not possibly be true. And, like, maybe I am remembering this with my adult brain and, like, coloring my whatever, but I just remember being like, that can't be true.
See, I 100% believed it when I was in Dare.
I did not. The thing that I remember being most afraid of is, like, I got to high school and I got to a party and all of a sudden people were going to be, like, throwing heroin at my face or something. You know, that was what I believed. But, like, that I was afraid of. Weed, I was like, it's fine. What, like, that's probably whatever. But I don't know why I thought that. I don't know if it was, like...
You had critical thinking skills. You were ahead of your time.
Well, it was... that cannot be it. It had to have been, like, I had a friend whose, like, older sister smoked weed and I know she's still alive. Or, like, something like that. But there was something that made me, like, hesitant to believe that. And all of this is to say, again, like, this isn't even an anti-Dare thing. This is just, like, that's what we were made to believe at the time. And, like, Dare didn't help the spreading of accurate information. No, you know?
Because there was something about, there was no statistical evidence that it made any impact on actual drugs, which that was not surprising.
No. Yeah.
But yeah.
That just changed. Did you know that?
No.
marijuana has been in the same class of drug as heroin and other, opioids and all of that until last year it changed.
What, did these people never have fun in college? Like,
no,
of course they didn't.
Invited to the
of course
parties.
they didn't. What am I
We
saying?
have these rules.
Oh my God.
This is what happens when dweebs are in charge.
That reminds me of, did you ever see Pineapple Express?
Of course I've seen Pineapple Express. Are you kidding me? That was one of my favorite movies of all time.
Thinking about the opening scene with Bill Hader when it's
Yes.
like, whenever it was, and they're like testing the
In,
different
the 50s
drugs
or whatever.
Yeah,
40s
to see
or 50s,
like how they
yeah.
should class them. But anyway.
Well, and that's why it's so ridiculous because, like, that's a comedy movie, but that's, like, kind of how it happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, they just didn't have a lot of information on it, so they were, like, dangerous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a big digression.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Thank you so much.
That was a great episode.
Philippa,
Yes.
for sending us the link to that podcast. And also thank you to Life After MLM for a great episode. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is not sponsored. They have no idea who we are.
No.
We just liked that episode.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll put a link in the show notes if you want to give it a listen as well. It comes recommended.
Yes, very much so.
But yeah, if you have a story of your own or a podcast recommendation or even a book recommendation or any kind of recommendation for anything, it could be a recommendation about a flavor of Jell-O for all we care. Feel free.
Oh my God, yum.
Yeah, love Jell-O. Feel free to send it to icecreamyscreampod@gmail.com and you will have our eternal love and gratitude, which you'll have anyway, but like a little bit more of it if you sent us something cool. Anyway, that's it.
We love you, but we'll love you more if you talk to us.
I didn't like that. That felt abusive. I'm sorry, everyone. It didn't feel nice.
We're doing great.
Anyway,
We love you.
I promise to do better, probably, or maybe I'll do worse. Tune in next time to find out. Until next time, keep it cool.
And keep it creepy.